You go from winning season 49 to being the third member out of 50. What was it like getting your torch snuffed for the very first time?
You know, it's wild. When Jeff snuffed my torch, I felt like I had just this wall came crumbling down
Mhm.
and I just felt like I could release all of this. I didn't even know I had a wall up, but all of this emotion that I had been holding in, not just from 50, but from 49 as well. And then also that break in between. Like it had been a crazy couple of months and just having that torch be snuffed, it was literally just like letting myself finally be able to breathe.
Now, you spoke a little bit about the need to feel vulnerable with people in the game. I'm wondering, was it harder to connect with your original tribe on 49 or harder to connect with these veterans in 50?
Oh, harder to connect with the veterans for sure. I mean, honestly, for my original tribe, on 49, I was cool with everybody. I know people bash my social game, but no, I love everybody from my original tribe in 49 and also quite a few people that merged. For 50, I think it was hard because I think a lot of these players may have had history together. And I think
Hmm.
coming in as the new kid on the block and then also someone who was just this big question mark. I think I was maybe looked at more as an obstacle versus like a potential ally. And so it was hard in that sense, strategically and in a game sense to connect with people like that.
Now, you did tell everyone that you won 49, though. So I'm wondering, after that information was revealed to them, did you feel comfortable? Did you feel like, okay, I kind of like minimized that target? Or what was the perception of everyone's thoughts out there?
No, I mean, honestly, I felt like everybody already knew. I'd been told before we got out to Fiji that someone had already spoiled my boot order and that a lot of the people who would be playing 50 already knew that I won. And
Mm,
so when I asked people out there, I'm like, do you guys want to guess how I did? I was kind of trying to see, is anyone gonna bite? Is anyone gonna say, oh, I heard you won or you won? Or how are people gonna handle this? Because I had known people probably would be coming into this game with certain connections. I was wondering if anyone might even lock eyes with one another or look at one another
mm.
when I was, offering the platform to have them disclose some information, to just kind of see if two people look at each other, does that mean they have knowledge and they were working together before? So that's what I was looking for.
So Sophie was on our hap recently, and she said something about a plan where you were going to tell everyone that Sophie was the winner.
Yes,
What
yeah.
was that all about there?
So me, Soph, and Rizzo devised a plan in the time that we were home between 49 and 50, where Rizzo and I were going to go tell everybody that Soph was the winner, Rizzo was the fire making boot, and then I was the fifth place person. And the reason I was asked back for 50 is because I'm super firecracker, I'll bring the drama, which, partially true. I can do all those
It's
things.
true. Yeah.
But on the flight to LA to go to Fiji, Soph let me know. She's like, "Hey, Sav, you cannot lie about how you're doing or how you did because everybody already knows. Someone from 47 reached out to me. Everybody knows our
Mhm.
entire boot order, so you have to come clean."
Bummer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your journey. You came back from this journey and you didn't tell anyone that you had an advantage, but they still kind of didn't believe you. So I'm wondering how much of a factor was that with your vote out? And do you think if you hadn't gone on the journey, would that have made any difference?
That's hard to say. I think just to give a little context, before I went on the journey, we had just voted out Jenna, and I genuinely felt like I was at the bottom. I felt like I was going home next.
Hmm.
And for a little more context, where my headspace was 450 versus 49. For 49, I felt like I was going to win that thing. I was going to do whatever it took. For 50, I knew it was going to be a huge uphill battle. So I was really just trying to appreciate the experience of it all and do things that I might not have done during 49 to really just put the cherry on top of my survivor experience. So that's
Hmm.
why I went on the journey. I didn't go on one during 49. I thought it'd be fun. I thought I could maybe meet some other players.
Hmm.
Playing against Colby, that's a freaking dream in and of itself. But as far as game wise, should I have gone on the journey? Probably not, especially knowing that all I got from the journey was the block of vote, which I didn't want to be honest with people about. I knew that if I told one person on the tribe, there was a good chance that everybody on the tribe would know. And I didn't feel comfortable with anyone really to share that. And so was going on the journey my demise completely? No, I don't think so. I think I was already a target. But did it help my case? Definitely not.
Yeah. So besides the journey, besides you being a winner, was there anything else that you feel contributed to you being the third person out of this game?
Yeah, I think the big question mark over me, even more than being a winner, right? Because you watch my game in 49, it's really not that crazy. I was loyal to my allies. People liked me enough to vote for me at the end, but I definitely wasn't the most liked person at all by any means out there. Like, if anything, I'm the best person to work with because I'll be loyal to you. And if
Hmm.
you get to the end with me, people are probably going to like you better than they like me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like people not seeing my season play out was probably the toughest thing that I had to overcome, because they see someone who won the season, but they don't know exactly how they did it. And everybody on my tribe has played this game at least once before. They understand how difficult it is to win this game. And
Hmm.
so by having the question mark over how in the world did this person accomplish that, that's scary.
Now, I do want to talk about Ozzy and Suri a bit. I have multiple questions about this duo. So there was a lot of talk, especially from Emily Flippin, about let's do something crazy and get Ozzy out. Why wasn't there more of an effort to split up what everyone kind of seemed to perceive as a really tight, powerful duo?
No, oh my gosh, it's so irritating. I feel like people did not realize how close Ozzy and Suri were, because that is the obvious answer, right? Like, you
Yeah.
have two players who are very strong, including Suri, who is probably one of the best social and strategic players to ever play this game. I will say, I think that Devens, Christian, and Emily thought that Suri was the fourth piece of their puzzle, and that she was more with them than she was with Ozzy. And so, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't get it either. I wish that they would have. And to be also honest, like, for the vote where I voted Ozzy, I really would have preferred to have Suri go home, just because I think that she's a bigger threat and way more dangerous than Ozzy. But I felt that no one was going to take that bait. No one really wanted Suri to go home. Whereas Ozzy's name had already kind of been thrown out. I'm like, all right, let's see if we can maybe make this happen, please.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, I think that Suri's just a masterclass at getting people to do what she wants them to do.
And even after that premier immunity challenge, I was out there watching her with the monkey's fist. The press left that scenario. We were like, oh, Cerise's toast. She's cooked. Tell me a little bit. Why wasn't Cerise's name brought up more instead of Jenna?
I think it just, again, it goes back to those connections. Emily Christian Devens connected very early on with Suri. Um, I don't think there was a world where they were going to put her name down over Jenna's. And I think also, when you're playing the game, you're only in the tribe portion for so long, right?
Hmm.
What really matters, if you can get past that, a few votes, and they already had people like me who were also at the bottom. What's really important is that you have allies when you get to merge who you can trust completely. And I
Hmm.
think that they thought that they could trust Suri completely.
Now let's pivot to Joe a little bit. He seemed to be ruffling some feathers out there, especially with Devens. What was kind of your perception of this whole Jotation thing and babysitting Joe, all of that?
Yeah, it was honestly very wild, because we had just watched Survivor 48, and the Joe in Survivor 48 felt different from the Joe that I saw that day on the island, when he had that really intense conversation with Devens. And let's be real, like, Survivor doesn't bring out the best in anyone. You know what I mean? Like, I will be the first to
Yeah.
say that. Like, you're not seeing me in my best shape out there. But I think it was just so surprising and shocking to see. And I also want to offer a different perspective too, because I've seen people say, like, oh, like, I've seen people kind of question why we were so concerned about this reaction from Joe. And in person, it felt way more intense to me. It just felt way more intense to me. And I'll leave it at that.